Hi, and welcome to Motherboard Installation by XLCS.com, XLCS Computer Solutions. The first step in removing the motherboard is gain access to your computer case. And then what you're going to do is you're going to remove various connectors, cables, adapters from the motherboard. Each cable must be removed, and some need to be gently removed, but make sure that every cable is disconnected from the motherboard. Some of the cables are your main power supply, your CPU power plug, the motherboard adapter, the ATA cable, and SATA cable. After all the cables are removed, the next step is to remove the computer's video card, and the technician is doing that. There is a little clip on this particular one that needs to be undone. Okay, the next step is to remove the screws from the motherboard. Every motherboard is different, but for the most part there's approximately 9 to 10 screws on the motherboard. As you can see, he's taking out the bottom right screw. He's undoing the middle screw. It's really important to make sure that every screw is unscrewed before the motherboard is removed from the system. After the screws are unscrewed, the motherboard simply pulls out from the case. It's really important to make sure that you don't bend any of the transistors or resistors on the board, and then put the board somewhere safe for later. Okay, once the motherboard is removed, there's various components that we need from this motherboard to place into the new motherboard. The first piece that we're going to remove is the CPU cooling fan. What you're going to do is unfasten the 4 screws around the CPU fan. Once this fan is removed, you'll have access to the CPU. It's important to gently move the fan side to side to loosen up the thermal grease. And once that we can simply just lift the fan from the motherboard and place that somewhere safe. And now we have access to the CPU. Okay, now that the CPU fan's removed, we have access to the CPU. As you can see, it's right there. And there's a remnants of thermal grease on the top of the CPU, and the technician's going to use a 91% solution of alcohol and a coffee filter to gently remove the excess grease from the old CPU. Alright, here we go. We're going to go ahead and remove the thermal grease from the CPU fan, just like we did on the CPU. 91% solution of alcohol and a coffee filter will take it off nicely. Small circular motion. Okay, we're going to unveil the new motherboard. What we're looking at is a P5ND Asus motherboard, fresh and ready for new installation. There it is, the new motherboard. Okay, the first step in reinstallation of the new motherboard is we're going to remove the CPU guard. And there's a small lever on the side. You can see the technician is gaining access to that lever, lifting it, and then removing the CPU protector. It's a small plastic piece that's used during shipping to protect the pins. Okay, as you can see, the CPU socket is clear and ready for installation of the new CPU. It's going to go right there. Okay, what you're going to notice on the CPU socket is that there's two notches on the socket, and what we're going to need to do is match up the two notches on the CPU. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drop the CPU straight down into the socket. Be careful not to bend any of the pins or force the CPU in. Once the CPU is dropped into the socket, what we're going to do is refasten the CPU lever, and what it does is it gently depresses it into place.